Son of Laertes, I always seem to catch you when you're in the process of cooking up some trap or other for your enemies. And now, here you are again, Odysseus, in front of Ajax's hut at the very edge of the camp, searching the ground for his footprints, just like a hunter, wondering, no doubt, if he's inside. You've been at it for hours now. You sniff about with that keen nose of yours, just like a Spartan hound, and you get to your prey in no time at all. Yes, Odysseus, Ajax is inside, sweat pouring out of his forehead and blood is dripping from his hands and from his slaughtering sword. So now there's no need for you to go on peering through that door. Just tell me what you're after and I'll tell you. I know what's going on.
Ah, the voice of our dear beloved goddess Athena. I recognize that voice so well that I know it's you, even if I can't see you. Might as well be a Tyrian trumpet shouting through its brass mouth. You've guessed well, Athena, yes. I am looking around on the ground, checking the footprints of an enemy of mine, Ajax, the man with the big shield. It's him I'm after, him and no one else. And I'm after him because he's a suspect to a shocking deed, one that was committed last night, insufferable stuff. If it was him, nothing's for certain yet, of course. We're all still just wondering about it. So I took it upon myself to conduct this investigation voluntarily. We've just discovered that someone has slaughtered all the cattle we've plundered, as well as the cow herd. Everyone says Ajax is the culprit. A scout saw him rushing about in the valley alone, his sword dripping with blood, as you said. And then that scout came to me and told me about it, so here I am, hot on the trail. There's no doubt some of these tracks are his, all right. But there are these others that do baffle me a bit. I can't tell where he is, really, just as well you're here, just in time. You are always my guide, and you always will be.
I already knew all this, Odysseus, and that's why I'm here. I want to help you with your hunting expedition.
So, my dear goddess, am I on the right track?
Yes. The slaughter was committed by this man.
So why did he do such a crazy thing?
Anger made him crazy. The jury awarded the armor of dead Achilles to you and not to him.
Yes, but what does that have to do with the herd of cows he slaughtered?
He thought he was slaughtering you. The blood that stained his hands he thought was your blood.
Did he think he was slaughtering all the Greeks?
And he would be thinking correctly if I hadn't kept a close eye on matters.
How did he even dare do such a thing? What made him so sure he'd succeed in killing us all?
Well, he started off on his own against you all, secretly in the middle of the night.
And did he get near us? Did he reach our tent?
Indeed he did. Got right up to the gates of the two commanders.
And? How did he manage to control his murderous hand? Did he?
No, that was me. I stopped him from his mad urge to kill you by throwing some potion into his eyes, disoriented him completely. Then I dragged him to where the herd of cattle and all the other animals were. The herdsmen hadn't yet separated the sheep from the cows. Ajax fell on them with great relish, hacked the horned animals to pieces, cleaved into them, spines and flesh scattered all around him. 1 minute he thinks he's cutting into the Atreus brothers. Here's Agamemnon, here's Menelaus, then it's some other chief, then another. He thought he was attacking and killing them all with his bare hands. I egged him on until I drove him right up to the edge of a terrible trap. Eventually, he got exhausted from all the slaughter, and after a little rest, he rounded up all the remaining live cattle, tied them up and brought them here. He thought he had tied up men instead of horned beasts. He got them all tied up and he's torturing them now. Let me show you the madman and all his deeds so that you can go tell the rest of the Argives what you saw. Don't worry, no harm will come to you. I'll just shuffle the rays of his eyes a bit so he won't be able to see you. You in there! Yes, you, the man who's bending back the arms of his prisoners and tying them up behind their backs. Yes, you. Come out here. Yes, Ajax, I'm calling you. Come outside in front of your hut.
Athena, what on earth are you doing? Don't call him out here.
Be quiet, Odysseus. You're behaving like a coward now.
For heaven's sake, let him stay inside.
What are you afraid of? He's still a mere man, isn't he?
Yes, a man and an enemy. To me.
And isn't laughing at one's enemies the most enjoyable of laughter?
It'd be just as enjoyable for me if he stayed in there.
Oh, what's the matter, Odysseus? Are you afraid of a madman?
A man, Ajax? Yes. The same Ajax? No.
But don't worry, because even though he'll be right in front of you, he won't be able to see you.
Of course he will. He'll still have the same eyes, won't he?
Odysseus, I'll make his eyesight very dull. He won't be able to see you at all.
Oh, well, the will of the gods is always accomplished. All right, I'll stay.
Good. Now stand still and be silent.
I'll stand, but I wish I weren't standing here.
Ajax! This is the second time I'm calling you. Is this how you treat your friends?
Ah, Athena, daughter of Zeus, a true and loyal friend indeed. I thank thee for that catch in there, and for it I shall make thee some golden offerings.
Thank you, Ajax. But tell me first, has your sword soaked up enough Argive blood yet?
Yes, there is no denying it. I can certainly boast of that.
And the sons of Atreus, Agamemnon and Menelaus, did
Those-
you use your strong arm against them as well?
Those two again will never dishonor Ajax.
So both of them are now dead, is that right?
Let's see if they can deprive me of my armor now.
Right. What about Odysseus, Laertes' son? What happened to him? He hasn't escaped you, has he?
Odysseus, that cunning fox, you want to know where he is?
Yes, that fox, Odysseus, your enemy.
He is sitting comfortably inside my tent, my lady. I don't want him to die quite yet.
Not yet. Why, what do you want to do first? Do you want to strike a deal with him?
What I want to do first is tie him hard against a pole inside my hut.
And then what, Ajax? Do something horrible to the poor man.
Only whip his back to a bloody pulp. Then I will let him die.
Oh, you shouldn't put the poor man through such torture.
In all other matters, my lady, I am at your command, but not in this one. That man must pay proper penalty, and the proper penalty is torture.
By all means, Ajax, do as you please. If that's what gives you pleasure, Ajax, then don't hold back. Stop at nothing. Do as you feel.
Right. Well, I must get back to my work. Stand by me, Athena. Stand by me always and help me in my fight.
See how powerful the gods are, Odysseus? Ajax, was there ever a man more wise, more competent, more capable of doing the right thing than Ajax?
No, Athena. I can't think of anyone better than Ajax. And though he's my rival, I do feel sorry for him. Miserable sod. He suffers from a dreadful sickness, obsessed by it. And, of course, fate might deliver this same sickness to me one day as well. Life is but an illusion, it seems. A fleeting shadow.
So, Odysseus, since you now know this, never show arrogance towards the gods. Say nothing that will offend them. Never boast about your strength or your wealth being greater than another man's. You must understand, Odysseus, that one single day can bring about both the achievement as well as the destruction of a man's efforts. Gods love good men, but they hate evil ones.
Ajax, son of Telamon, Ajax, whose home is Salamis, the lofty sea-splashed island. When you do well, I rejoice, but I get anxious and worried, my lord, when I see Zeus's punishment aimed directly at you, or when the gossiping tongues spread quickly damaging rumors about you.
I get very worried, my lord. Worried like a little dove whose eyes see fear.
Like the disgraceful gossip that we heard about last night, Ajax. They say you went into the valleys where the animals were held, all those animals that were captured by the Greeks here. You went in there and began slaughtering them all, cutting them down with your sword.
These animals hadn't been shared out among the Greeks yet.
That's what Odysseus is saying. He's spreading all this stuff, whispering it across the ears of the whole army. And people believe him, my lord, totally.
And not only do they believe his accusations, but he who hears the tale enjoys it more than does its teller. Your suffering gives them courage.
They're like a flock of chattering birds, my lord. When you've got your back turned, they say all sorts of insulting things, but stand up against them like a wild eagle, and they're stiff with fear and they shut up. What happened?
Did you get Zeus's darling daughter, Artemis, mad, my lord? Was it that goddess who plays with bulls who drove you into slaughtering that cattle, my lord?
Was it because you haven't paid her your respects, not given her her glittering share of some loot or other?
Did you hold back on giving her some huntsman's trophy, perhaps?
Is that why she got so angry with you?
Ajax must have made her jealous somehow. Still, all this is crazy stuff. All this slaughtering of animals is not the sort of stuff that sensible people do.
No, I think he was struck by something from the heavens.
Still, I hope Zeus and Apollo would cure him of it.
But then, my lord, if our two mighty kings, Agamemnon and Menelaus, along with that horrible Odysseus, the son of low-life Sisyphus, if they go about spreading lies about you, well then, don't just hang about your huts across the waves and let your good name be sullied. Don't do that.
Come, get up now. You've been brooding in there long enough.
Come, you've had a long enough rest from the battle.
Come out now to stop this spreading blaze of mocking. It's reaching the skies now.
Come, don't let the vile tongues of your enemies spread insolence wildly all about in the fields, with the help of the scorching winds of destruction.
I cannot put up with it any longer.
Sailors, good friends of Ajax, we who love the distant house of Telamon feel enormous grief. Because right now, our Ajax, our mighty, our awesome, our untamed Lord, is stricken with a sickness whose fury has shaken his very soul.
Trojan daughter, tell us, what greedy deed has last night cast upon yesterday?
Brave Ajax has won you by his war spear and brought you close to his heart, so you would know what truly happened. Tell us!
What words can I use to tell of things that defy words? The man has suffered pains equal to death itself. He's gone mad. Some evil frenzy has gripped his mind in the middle of the night. Go, look into his hut yourselves. There you will see the sacrificial offerings scattered mindlessly by his own hands. Blood and gore is scattered everywhere.
What dreadful news you give us, Tecmessa!
Unbearable news.
Almighty warrior
Unbearable
Ajax.
yet undeniable.
Ah, what will happen to us now?
If the public sees all this, the disgrace alone will kill him.
His wild hands and his black sword have slaughtered all the herds, the herdsmen as well as their horses.
He took a hold of them, roped them, and brought them here, that whole herd of animals. Some of them he took inside and slaughtered them there and then on the ground, and the rest he cut into bits, hacking into their sides. There were 2 rams with white feet. He sliced the head of one of them clean off, then its hanging tongue, and threw them on the floor. The other one, he stood it upright on its hind legs and tied it up against a pole. Then he took a double thick leather strap, the one he uses to tie up the horses, and whipped that poor animal ruthlessly, all the time yelling all sorts of vulgar words which he could have learned only from some god, certainly not from a mortal.
It's time now, I think, for us to hide our face in shame and slide secretly away.
Or sit at the rowers' benches and work the oars of our swift ocean-traveling ships and sail away for home. The 2 royal Atreus brothers are hurling dreadful threats at us, stoning to death.
Why should I suffer that alongside a man whose fate is inevitable? No, he's not like that anymore. The fury is gone from him and his mind as well. But now he's got a new sickness in his soul. Now he realizes what he has done, and that of how horrible his deed was, and that it was he and he alone that did it. And that, my friends, is hurting him most bitterly.
Ah, good.
Excellent news! If the madness is gone and he's now well, then surely that takes away from the horror of his deed.
But if you were given a choice of either hurting your friends, or you feeling good, or sharing in your friend's pain, which would you choose?
Tecmessa, the worst of the 2 is the double sorrow.
In that case, now that he is no longer sick, we are in pain.
What? What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
While that man was in the grips of his sickness, he was happy. But we felt sad seeing him like that. Now that he is no longer insane, he is gripped by sorrow and pain as he had found out what he had done, and we in turn feel sad seeing him like that. Just as sad as we had felt when he was sick. Is this not a double sorrow replacing a single one?
Yes, I see. I'm afraid that perhaps some god has sent this sickness to him.
Why else would he be well and yet still suffer?
I think the way things are right now, you ought to know the full story.
How did it all begin?
Please tell us, Tecmessa. We have a share in these things.
Yes, I see you do, so I'll explain everything. Right in the middle of the night, when all the lights had been extinguished, he took up his two-edged sword and began to leave the hut, as if he was some to go on some errand or other. I stopped him and asked him, "Where are you off to, Ajax? I didn't hear the trumpet for a general call, and no herald came for you. Everyone's asleep out there." What I got as an answer was the usual short insult. "Listen, woman. Women are only beautiful when they're silent." At that I shut up, and he ran out of the hut all alone. I have no idea what happened out there, but when he came back, he was dragging behind him bulls, all tied up, guard dogs and sheep, as if they were a prize of some sort for him. Some of those animals he cut off their heads. Others he tied up and started torturing as if they were men. After all that, he ran out of the gate and started screaming at some shadow, all sorts of insults directed one minute at the Atreus brothers and the next at Odysseus, and at the same time laughing loudly at the thought of the disaster he had just caused in his madness. Then he rushed back into the hut. And as he looked around, he became aware of what he had done. The whole room clogged with ruin and destruction. He struck his head against his hand and let out a horrible shout. Then he fell down among all the bloody carcasses and began to tear out his hair with his fingernails. For a while, he just sat there in total silence. And then, when he finally spoke, he uttered all sorts of threats to me that if I didn't tell him exactly what had happened in the hut and how he got to the state that he was in, Oh, I was frightened by his words, my friends. And so I told him as well as I could the whole story. And when he heard that, he began to cry. Never seen him cry like that. He used to always say that crying was a sign of weakness in a man. A sure sign that that man is a coward. And how he cried, deep groans, moans, really hardly audible like those a bellowing bull would make. So now, he lies there without food or drink among all the bloody carcasses he cut down with his sword. From his words of deep grief, it looks obvious to me that he's thinking of doing some great harm to himself. But that's why I'm out here, my friends, to ask you to go inside and help him in any way you can. The words of friends can often cure a man of his condition.
Tecmessa, what Ajax has suffered is horrible.
Oh, what a disgusting man I am.
Hear that? Looks like Ajax is getting worse.
Oh no, how shocking!
Either he's in pain, or he's just realized what he's done earlier.
Oh, my son, my darling boy!
Oh no, my darling son Ulysses, he's calling for you, my boy. What is he thinking now? Where are you, my son? Oh no, this is horrible.
Duke, my brother, where is he? Will he go on fighting while I'm dying here?
Sounds all right to me.
Come, open the door, Ajax. Perhaps he'll pluck up some courage and feel better once he sees me. Take a look inside. See what he's done in there.
Oh, my friends and sailors, my only true and loyal friends indeed, look what black tempest has broken over my head. I'm drowning by huge waves. They're gathering high all around me.
Oh, my lady, what you told us is absolutely right. He looks like he's truly lost his sanity.
My seamates, experts of the sea, we've worked the oars together, you and I. Come, my friends. You are the only ones who can help me now. You, and you alone. Come and kill me like I've killed these animals.
Stop talking like that, Ajax. Such unhappy words. You're trying to cure a pain by causing another.
Your remedy will be worse than the disease you're now suffering from.
Look at me! Me, the brave hero, the one who never trembles in fear in battle. Look at what I've done. I have killed these helpless animals, poor beasts that never hurt anyone. Look at me. Is there anyone more shameful than me? Is there anyone who has suffered a greater insult?
No, my lord Ajax. Don't talk like that, I beg you.
Leave, woman! Leave, go away.
In heaven's name, Ajax. Listen. Be reasonable, my lord.
Me and my horrible luck. I've let my enemy slip through my hands and jumped upon horned beasts and God-blessed sheep and spilled their black blood.
But what's the use of lamenting over what has been done?
It is done, and there's no going back.
Odysseus! Sly son of Laertes! Your evil mindness is nothing. You are the instrument behind every evil deed. Scum of the army, how heartily you must be laughing now.
It is the gods who determine whether we laugh or cry, my lord.
If only he were here in front of me now, even though I'm in such torment.
Still showing your arrogance with your big words. Can you not see what this arrogance has done to you?
Zeus, father of my fathers, destroy that most hated man for me. Him, Odysseus, and the 2 sons of Atreus, the 2 kings. Then I can die.
You must pray for your death, and you may as well pray for mine also. Why would I want to go on living if you're dead?
Darkness, you are my light. Hades' misery, you are my biggest hope. Take me, Hades, and let me live in your darkest hall. Here, Zeus's daughter, that mighty goddess Athena, tortures me mercilessly. Where can I find refuge? Where can I go and live? If all my glorious past is gone and all I'll be remembered for is having so mindlessly slaughtered those animals, then let the whole army raise their swords against me and strike me dead.
What shocking words you utter, Ajax. Brave man like you've never uttered them in the past.
Goodbye to you paths of the sea. Goodbye to you caves and shores, you that have kept me here in Troy a very long time, but too long. No more. No more for me. I will not live, I will not breathe any longer. You've been so kind to the Greeks, let me make this last boast to you. You won't be seeing another man like me, at least not in the whole army that came here to Troy from Greece. Yet now I lie here, a man defeated, a man without honor.
I can neither stop you nor let you go on like this, Ajax.
The story you tell is so full of pain.
Ajax! A name, a lament, a groan. My name and my horrible fate are in agreement. Ajax. Who would have thought that one's name would describe one's fate? Ajax! To utter the name is to utter a groan of agony. Utter it again and again, and still you are uttering a groan. Ajax! Agony. Ajax. Ajax, whose father had once come home from this very same land, carrying the greatest prize for bravery. Yet I, Ajax, his son, who came here with a force no lesser than his father's, and who performed with his own hands deeds to match his father's, am lying here, dishonored and destroyed by the Greeks. One thing I know for certain. Had Achilles been alive today and held a contest on bravery, his armor as the first prize, he would be awarding it to me, Ajax, and no one else. But instead, the 2 brothers have disregarded my own mighty deeds and gave the armor to a sly, miserable man. If only my eyes and my mind had not been turned the other way, those 2 would never have lived a day to make judgment against such a man as me. But that invincible daughter of Zeus, that goddess with blazing eyes, Athena, she threw me off course just as I had my hand stretched out to kill those 2. She cast a whirl of madness over me, and I ended up painting my hands red with the blood of those beasts instead. Now, those criminals have escaped, and I know they're laughing at me now, even though it wasn't my fault. When the gods are on their warpath, even criminals can escape the hands of heroes. So tell me, friends, what do I do now? Shall I leave, go home, leave my ships at the harbor just like that, leave the Atreus brothers and cross the Aegean Sea? But then, when I get home, how could I even dare face Telamon, my father? What will he think of me, appearing before him, my hands, naked, empty, no prize of victory to show him? Telamon, who won that prize already, the crown of victory still on his head. No, that I could never endure. So what then? Shall I rush over the walls of Troy and challenge every one of her soldiers, I, alone against them all? At least that way I will die having achieved some fame. No. No. I must come up with something else. Something that will show my father his son is no coward. It is a shameful thing for a man to want to live a long life when he can't shake off his troubles. Where is the pleasure in living a life with days that alternate between life and the brink of death? The man whose soul is warmed by empty hopes is a fool, and I think little of him. The noble live and die nobly. You've heard all I have to say on this matter.
There's no denying, Ajax. The words you've just spoken come straight from your own heart. These are not words spoken by anyone else. But do put them aside, Ajax, and hear also the words of those who love you.
My lord, the most difficult thing for people is to obey fate's commands. Look at me, my lord! My father was a free man, the wealthiest man in Troy, yet here I am, a slave. That was fate's command. Fate's command and the strength of your arms. And so, since I ended up being your wife, I wish you well always. But in the name of Zeus, protector of the hearth and of the bed which we share, do not think it a wise thing to have me abandoned to the hands of your enemies who have nothing but insults for me. You can count on this, Ajax. The moment you die, the moment you abandon me by your deathbed, that very moment, your son and I will be violently seized by the Greeks and immediately turned into slaves. Can you hear one of them talking? Look at her, one of my new masters will say. Look at Ajax's wife, the army's bravest. Look at her now, no more than a mere slave. Everyone envied her before his death. How she must suffer now insults to you and your family. And me? I'll just be another victim of my fate, my own fate. Come now, my lord. Think of your father. You're not going to abandon him in his bitter old age, are you? Think of your mother too, Ajax, poor woman. Endless years behind her every day. She prays to the gods that you'll come home safe and alive. Do you not feel sorry for your son, my lord? Think how painful his death will be on him and for me. Think how bitter his life would be if he lost your loving care and support, if he lost you, and if he ended up in the hands of unfriendly keepers. My eyes look upon no one else but you, my lord. You are my wealth, my health, my country, and my security.
I'd like you, Ajax, to feel for her, just as I do.
Listen to her, Ajax.
I'll listen to her if she will listen to me and do as she's told.
My lord, I shall do whatever you say.
Then bring my son here. I want to see my son, now.
See your son? Why, I sent him away. I was so afraid.
Afraid of my madness, is that what you mean?
Yes! I was afraid you might see him and kill him.
That's right. Exactly what fate would have had in mind for me.
And that's exactly what I wanted to prevent.
I agree with you. That was wise. You showed good foresight there. My friends, my war mates, experts of the ocean, accept my gratitude and my request. Convey my wishes to Tuker, my brother. Tell him to deliver my boy safely home. And as for my armor and my shield, the rest of my equipment, let them not be the contest of something or other. Let no man to be the judge as to who will be the new owner, especially not Odysseus, that man who destroyed me. What endless crying you women do. Come, go now and shut the doors. Wise doctors do not go on chanting lamentations when what's needed is a sharp knife.
This eagerness of yours, Ajax, it frightens me.
And this angry voice of yours, it worries me.
But Lord, what is in losing that head of yours. What are you up to?
Ask no questions. Be no judge. Think calmly.
Ajax! I'm losing all hope, Ajax. I beg you, for God's sake and the sake of your son, do not abandon us.
Gods, woman! You make me so angry when you talk like that. I owe the gods nothing! Nothing, don't you understand?
Don't talk like that about the gods.
I would rather talk to those who listen.
Will you not listen to me?
You said too much already.
Because I'm afraid, my lord.
Go! Go now and shut the doors!
Please, Ajax.
What a fool you must be, Tecmessa, if you think you are going to change my character now.
Glorious island Salamis, in the lap of the sea, blessed by the gods.
For many years now, I, a poor soldier, wandered aimlessly around the lush valleys of Troy, 1 month following the next, worn out by the passing of time, with only one frightening prospect in mind.
That my wandering paths will lead me to Hades, the destroyer of all.
And for a companion, I have Ajax, a man in the grips of an incurable insanity delivered to him by the gods.
Oh, Salamis, you sent forth a mighty man, a powerful warrior, but that was a long time ago. Now Ajax is a different man. There, alone, his mind feeds on misery, and we, his friends, grieve for him.
Gone to waste are all his brave deeds on the battlefield. They have no currency in the hands of the most hated, ungrateful men in the Greek army, our 2 kings, Atreus' sons.
And what of his poor mother?
White-haired and bent with the many years. What will she do when she hears that her son is stricken by a sickness that destroys the mind?
I can hear her now.
She cries out the lamenting tones of a nightingale.
Deep, mournful, pitiful cries, the high-pitched notes of a dirge.
And I can hear the sound of her hands as they crash against her chest.
See how she tears her hair out.
Better the dark halls of Hades than the fetters of an incurable disease.
Ajax is no more.
No more the noblest of the defiant Greeks.
No more the strength of character he was brought up with.
No more the man, no more the mind, no more the heart.
Ajax dwells elsewhere.
Relentless, infinite time. It uncovers the hidden and hides the unhidden. Nothing is beyond exception. The toughest oaths can be trampled, the strongest bonds broken, the toughest heart softened, and so too is mine. My own heart that was tough before, yet this poor woman's words have softened it like iron is softened by the hands of a smith. It hurts now. The thought of leaving her a widow, leaving my son an orphan at the mercy of my enemies, it pains me. But now I shall go to the fields by the shore and wash myself in the waters of the ocean, cleanse myself of the pollution, avert the deadly anger of the goddess. Then I shall look for some deserted spot where I can bury this most hated of all weapons. Bury it beneath the ground where no one can find it. Let Hades below take care of it. It was given to me by my most deadliest of enemies, Hector, a gift that from the moment I received it, the Argives gave me nothing but grief. It's true what they say. An enemy's gift is never a gift. It does no one any good. Well then, let's obey the will of the gods. Let us learn to respect the sons of Atreus. They are our commanders, and we must follow their orders. Isn't that so? Even the strongest and the toughest must yield to those who hold command. Winter's most bitter blizzards must give way to fruit-bearing summer. The frightening circle of the night must move away as day's carried upon her horses and brings in the blazing light. Heaving seas are brought to sleep by the fury of spinning winds. Mighty sleep, too, will release those fetid and not hold them in prison forever. That's why I have learned to be sensible, and so too I shall be sensible. I have learned that we must hate our enemies today, knowing that they could be our friends tomorrow. And we must help our friends today, knowing that they could be our enemies sometime in the future. Friendship is not a very trustworthy harbor, but never mind all this. It will all turn out well. Now, woman, go inside and pray to the gods. Ask them to accomplish everything I have in my heart. And you, my friends, my seamates, honor my wishes also. just as she has, tell Tukur, my brother, when he comes back, look after all my affairs and be loyal to you. But now, I must go to a place that is proper for me to go. Do what I ask of you, and you will soon hear that even though fate is against me now, I will soon be free of all this misfortune.
Oh, joy! Oh, Zeus! You brought the shining light of day back to the swift sea-traveling ships of the Greeks. Ajax has now left behind his misfortune, and he will obey and accomplish the will of the gods with all due reverence and respect, with all due ceremony, and by performing the proper sacrifices.
Friends, firstly, I want to announce the fact that Tukur has just come back, and as soon as he arrived, the whole of the Greek army set out in one body against him. The moment they saw him in the distance, they made a tight circle around him, and one by one began taunting him with insults and threats, telling him he was the brother of a madman and of a traitor who plotted against the Greek army, and that they would not rest until he's dead, until his body had been pounded to death with stones. Swords were drawn and swung about in the quarrel, and it reached its extremes before the senior officers began to soothe the soldiers down and calm their anger. But now tell me, where is Ajax? I need to report this news to him. The leaders must know every new bit of information.
He left a few minutes ago.
A new moon and a fresh view of matters are now tied to the yoke of his mind.
How awful. Either Tukur has sent me here too late, or I was too slow getting here.
Why? What's so important? Were you supposed to prevent something from happening?
Yes. Tukur told me not to let Ajax out of the house until he himself gets here.
Well, Ajax is gone.
God to make peace with the gods.
After all that anger in his soul, it was a good change of thinking.
Wrong, my friends. That is, if Calchas is right with his prophecy.
What do you mean?
I was there at the time, and I saw the prophet Calchas leave his place in the tight circle of generals and tell Tukur that if he wanted to see his brother alive again, he should make sure that Ajax stays inside his hut the whole day and not go outside at all. After that, Athena's anger will stop pursuing him. He also said that when men overfeed their soul with pride, the gods will bring them down by sending upon them some heavy misfortune. Ajax was always foolish, Calchas also said. Even before he left home to come here, we saw his foolishness. His own father gave him wise advice. He told him, "My son, always pursue victory over your enemy, but do so with the aid of the gods." But what does Ajax say to that? "Father, anyone, even a nobody, can be victorious in battle with the aid of gods. Me? I'm certain I can triumph over my enemy alone without the help of any gods." And then he added there was also the other time when the goddess Athena was urging him on and giving him directions in the battle, telling him where to strike with his bloody hand. Ajax said to her, "Athena, you go and help the other Greeks because no enemy shall ever pass through the grounds that I stand and defend." Calchas said those were despicable words, that they showed arrogance at its worst, more pride than any mortal should ever possess. And it was because of those words that he uttered to the divine Athena that she is so implicably angry at him. However, if Ajax is still alive today, perhaps, Calchas said, we can manage to save his life with Athena's help. And after Calchas told me all of this, Tukur got up and told me to bring these commands here to you and to make sure you observe them. But if we delay on this, then either Ajax is already dead or Calchas is not a good prophet.
Teresa, come out, you unfortunate woman.
Unfortunate child, born of unfortunate parent. Come
Come listen to this woman's words.
They are like a razor that shaves too close for comfort, my lady.
What's wrong? You raised me from my bed. I was resting after all the horrors I've witnessed.
Listen to this woman, Teresa. She has brought us some dreadful news about Ajax.
Oh no. What is this news? Tell me that.
News, madam. I don't know if you could call this news, but if Ajax is not in there, then I am truly afraid.
No. Ajax is not inside. Your words make me shudder with fear, madam.
My lady, Tukur gave orders that his brother stay in his hut and not go anywhere outside it alone.
Tukur? Where is he? Why did he give such orders?
He just arrived from the battlefield. He's afraid that if Ajax ventured out of his hut, he would most certainly be killed.
Oh no, who told him that?
The prophet Calchas. He said that today is a matter of life or death for Ajax.
Oh, my dear friends, save me from what fate has in store for me. Come, some of you run to find Teucer. Others run to the western shores, and yet some go to the eastern side. See if you can find out where that doomed man Ajax rushed off to. It's obvious, my friends. He has deceived me and threw me out of his trust. I mustn't stay here. I will go and search for him as well. I will look for him as long as my strength lasts. We mustn't waste any time if we are to save a man who is determined to die.
I'm ready to go.
Enough words. Let swift action now speak.
There. The butcher is ready. Sharp and ready. Certainly standing in the right land, Troy. But I have no time for that. It was a gift given to me by most hated of enemies. I hated the man, hated the sight of him, Hector. But this here is the right spot for this sword. Troy, the soil of an enemy. Freshly sharpened with a whetstone, it can shave away iron. Firmly planted there, so that it may send me off to a quick death. There, all done. The rest is up to you, Zeus. Do this for me. All I ask is you send a messenger to my brother Teucer, that he will be the first one to handle my bloody, stained body after I jump upon this sword. Don't let some enemy find me. They will only throw me to the dogs and the ravens. That is all I ask of you, Zeus. I also ask of Hermes, the god who escorts men to the world below. Send me off to a soft, quick sleep. Let me die quickly. Die the moment I make the jump. Die the moment this sword pricks my side. I also call upon the eternal virgins, the fast-footed furies who oversee the troubles of all mortals. I call upon their help, and I ask them to witness my death. It is a death committed by the hands of the sons of Atreus. Come, sacred maidens, grab them both and deliver them to evil befitting evil men. Make them destroy themselves with their own hands as I destroy myself with mine. I also call upon the divine sun who drives his chariot through the sky. Announce my death to my father and my aged mother who nursed me. What a wailing she will fill the city with when she hears of my death. But wailing is futile, nothing is achieved by it. Now I must hurry and begin my act. Come, death, and look upon me now. Never mind. I'll talk to you later when I have come down below. Come light, come sun god charioteer. This is the last speech that Ajax makes here. The rest I shall address to those below, down in Hades' black halls.
So tired. So tired. We walked everywhere. One path leads to another, and that leads to yet another, but not one leads us to where Ajax is. Look over there. I've heard a noise. It's our shipmates.
Any news, friends?
We went all around the east side.
Did you see anything?
Lots of trouble, but no Ajax.
Not from the west side either.
Oh, if only someone could tell us.
Some fisherman, perhaps.
Some tired old soul, staying up all night, working at his nets.
Or some mountain nymph looking down from one of Mount Ida's 4 peaks.
The Olympian one.
Or one of the rivers flowing from the Bosphorus.
If they could see the madman and call out to us, tell us where he's wandering.
What a pity not to find the man's tracks after all this arduous search.
What a pity not to find him after all this work.
What was that?
The scream came from over there behind those shrubs.
Oh, Ajax, oh my darling husband!
Ah, it's Tecmessa, the spearman's captive woman.
Beaten by an uncontrollable agony.
Oh, my friends. Oh, now I am lost, now I am defeated, I am finished.
What is it, Tecmessa?
Look. Our Ajax has just been killed. His sword plunged deep into his heart.
Killed?
Oh, this is the end of our return. You have killed our homeward journey, my lord. And you have killed us, your shipmates.
Oh, you poor woman.
Yes, he's dead. We can do nothing but mourn now.
But who did it? Whose hand killed him?
His own. Judging by the way he planted the sword into the ground, he obviously fell onto it.
Oh, Ajax!
Oh, friend!
Bathed in blood through our stupidity, our own blindness, our lack of care.
No friends around you to protect you, my friend.
Tecmessa, where is our dead Ajax now? Where is that indomitable man? Where lies the man whose very name means ill-fated?
No, no one else must see him like this. This shall be his shroud. I shall cover his body with it. No friend could endure the sight of him. Black blood gushing through his nostrils. Black gore that rose up from the deadly gash of his self-slain. Oh, Ajax, what will I do now? Which one of your friends shall carry you? Where is your brother? Where is Tuker? Oh, I wish you were here right now. A brother, dressing the body of a brother. Unfortunate Ajax. What a man you were, what a man you are now. Even your enemies could mourn your death.
You were determined, my unfortunate friend.
Stubbornly determined to put an end to your endless troubles, to your dreadful fate, determined to do it with a tragic deed. Night and day you groan with a deadly passion, curses against your enemies, the sons of Atreus. The day when the contest about Achilles' golden armor took place was a day that brought about this new lot of awesome troubles.
Oh, what an unfortunate sight.
I know it well. This pain pierces the very heart of a noble woman.
Oh, Ajax.
Cry, my lady. Cry again and again, my lady. Today you've lost a man you loved. A man who had no equal.
This pain that I feel is something you can only ever imagine.
Yes, my lady. I agree.
Oh, my little son. What now? Which slavery's yoke do our new dreadful masters have in store for us now?
May the gods avert the unspeakable suffering that the ruthless sons of Atreus you mentioned have in store for you.
The gods. The gods. It was the gods who hurled this disaster upon us.
Yes, they've made the weight of our burden even more unbearable.
It was Athena, Zeus's daughter, fearsome Pallas. It was she who brought about this terror for Odysseus' sake.
Odysseus, yes! Odysseus, the sly, black-hearted soul. He'll be laughing uncontrollably when he hears the news of our frenzied lament.
He and those two evil mates of his, the Atreus brothers.
Let them laugh all they want. Let them laugh at our misfortune. They cared not about him when he was alive. But they'll care about him now that he is dead and this war rages still. Fools never know the virtue of what they have in their hands until someone takes it away from them. His death brings sorrow to me and joy to them. So be it. As for Ajax himself, it was what he wanted. It was the death he longed for. So what is there for them to laugh about? It was the gods who killed Ajax. The gods above, not the men below. So let Odysseus shout his empty insults. Ajax is gone now. Gone. And left me to my tears and sorrows.
Oh, what a disaster! What a disaster!
Hang on a minute. I think I've heard Tuker's voice.
Oh, my dear brother, oh, Ajax! Oh, Ajax. Is it true what they say about you?
Your brother is dead, Tuker. Be certain of that.
How heavy is the fate that rules me?
That is true, Tuker.
What bitter, bitter fate!
We can but mourn, my friend.
Unbearable blow.
A most unbearable blow, Tuker.
Awful, awful blow. Hurry! Help us, men, and love to mock the fallen.
Tuker, you're doing exactly what Ajax wanted you to do. He had asked that you should take care of his affairs.
Oh, dreadful, dreadful sight! Of all the dreadful sights I've beheld in my life, this is by far the worst. And this path, my dear brother, that brought me here to you, of all the paths I ever took, this is by far the worst. A rumor sped through the lines of the Greek army my poor brother sped fast, as if sent by the gods themselves. A horrible rumor that said you were dead. When I heard it back there in the field, I sighed quietly. But now that I can see you with mine own eyes, Ajax, this sight has broken my heart. Come, friends, one of you uncover his body. Let me see the full dread. Oh! Ajax! What ghastly sight! How bitter the outcome of your courage! How dreadful the pain you've sown in my soul! What now for me, Ajax? Where can I go? What mortal could receive a man who did not stand by his brother in his hour of need? Will Telamon, your father and mine, smile when I return to him without you? Will he receive me kindly? No, of course not. Telamon doesn't smile even when fortune treats him well, let alone now. What insults will he not hurl at me? I can hear his shouts now, the bastard son of a slave captured by the spear, and the brother who's betrayed Ajax through sheer trickery or cowardice, so that he might inherit his kingdom and his house. My darling brother Ajax, he's now a man weighed down by old age, cantankerous and quick with his anger. And after those insults, he will banish me from our land, renounce me as a free man, and have me declared a slave. As for Troy, here too my enemies are great in number and my friends few. Fewer even now that you are dead. Oh! What shall I do with you now, my brother? How can I get the courage to pull you away from that gleaming, murderous point of the sword? Poor man, what murderer has taken your last breath? Hector. You see, Ajax, even in his death, Hector has killed you. Compare the fates of these two mortals, Ajax. There was Hector, tied to his chariot by Achilles with the very belt that you had given him, tied and dragged until his body was nothing more than a mound of mangled gore, and there you are, Ajax, fallen and died upon the very sword that Hector has given you as a gift. Well then, is it not fair to say that it was some spirit of vengeance who forged that sword for you, and that it was Hades himself, a most gruesome craftsman, who made that belt for Hector?
Enough talk for now, Tuker.
Think of how you'll bury the man, and what you'll say to the enemy I see coming towards us.
Evil man has obviously come to mock us in our misfortune.
Who? Who do you see?
Menelaus, the man for whom we launched this expedition.
Yes, I see him now that he's near enough. He's not hard to recognize, is he?
You there, leave that body alone. Do not move it. Leave it as it is.
Such big words, Menelaus. What do they mean?
My words are my command, and the command of the chief of the army.
In that case, you'll tell us the reason behind your command.
The reason is treason. We have brought this man here with us, thinking he was an ally, a friend of the Greeks. Now we see that he is an enemy, a worse enemy than the Trojans themselves. That man has conspired to murder us, to murder the complete army. He would be alive, and we would be lying there, in his place, victims of a loathsome death. Thankfully, the gods diverted his violent act and delivered it upon dumb sheep and cattle. And that is why no mortal has the power to give that body a proper burial. It will be thrown into the yellow sands of the shores as fodder for the birds of prey. So control this hot anger of yours. We could not control him when he was alive, and whether you like it or not, we shall control him now that he is dead. He had no time for my commands when he was alive, typical of an uncouth man who disregards the orders of his superiors. No city can succeed without the respect of its laws, nor can an army be ruled wisely if it lacks that fear and respect. Every man must know that even a man with a massive body can be brought down by the smallest evil. And every man must know well that he is safe only when he can feel fear and shame. And that if he is arrogant and disrespectful towards his city's laws, then that city, even if it was sailing along well before, that city will eventually sink to the bottom. First it was he who behaved with a fierce arrogance, but now it is my turn to behave with pride. So I command you, do not bury this body unless you want to find yourself in the very same grave.
Your speech was wise, Menelaus, but now you mustn't insult the dead.
Friends, when men who are supposed to be of high birth make speeches like this, it does not surprise me when men of low birth make mistakes. Menelaus, tell me again, you say that you brought Ajax here as an ally to the Greeks. Is that right? Did he not sail here of his own accord, as an independent and as his own master? How is it that you have suddenly made yourself his commander? And what right do you have to command those people he brought here with him? You, Menelaus, are the king of Sparta, not our king. So you have no more right to chastise him than he has to chastise you. Use your fine, arrogant speeches to chastise your own subjects. You may rule them as you wish, but as for me, I will give this man the due and proper burial he deserves. I'm not afraid of your pompous words. Ajax did not come here to fight for your woman like all the other poor, worn-out men. Ajax came here because he was bound by an oath he swore. His coming here had nothing to do with you, because to him, you were a nobody, a nothing. And Ajax placed no value on nobodies. If you don't like this, then go. Send off your heralds and bring the general here. As far as I'm concerned, I will do what I must, despite all your noisy protestations. So long as you're the sort of man you are, I will not be afraid to turn away from you.
In such times of trouble, I don't like to hear such speeches.
Harsh words bite, even if they are right.
Huh! This archer seems to be too proud for my liking.
Because unlike your skills, mine are not loathsome.
You'd be prouder still if you held a shield.
Shield? I don't need a shield to deal with you, Menelaus, even if you are in full armor.
Your tongue feeds your temper with a fierce anger.
When justice is with you, then anger is justified.
Is it just then that my murderer be honored?
Your murderer? What a mighty thing it is to be both alive and murdered, eh?
It's true. God saved my life, but Ajax had me...